All the fierce question of man's hour relieved. Man's fierce question. We don't understand our own thing of mortality, of death, of ignorance, of suffering. That is the fierce question of man. It is she now who is attending to that directly. The daily oblation of her unvectio. All the fierce question of man's hour relieved. The sacrifice of suffering and desire. Earth offers to the immortal ecstasy began again beneath the eternal hand. Beneath the eternal hand. Savitri sacrifice, she has made her life an altar. Sorrow with frankincense now, that means. It is that sacrifice is being done by Savitri under the eternal hand. The Supreme Himself is seeing and guiding and holding everything. The sacrifice now, earth offers to the immortal ecstasy. That sorrow, that frankincense, that altar, earth is constantly offering. In fact, the yajna of earth is constantly going on. Her mortal state, she wants to come out of that thing, and it is that constantly going on. To whom that the sorrow will change into joy, ecstasy. Earth offers to the immortal ecstasy, Ananda, immortal ecstasy, Ananda. Began again, Savitri has started that. In fact, unless it is done by Savitri, unless that sacrifice is done by Savitri under the eternal hand, there is no fulfillment of earth's offering her sorrow and suffering to the eternal ecstasy. Eternal ecstasy of the earth, eternal ecstasy will bless, so to say, the earth when Savitri's yajna under the eternal hand is successfully carried through. Awake, she endured the moment, Sri man. Awake, she endured, Savitri, endured the moments at her Siridma. Now, see, it is not the question of months and weeks and days. It is a question of not even hours, but of moments. Now, he is going to die. It is in the Shalva woods, in the forest. It is going to happen now shortly, any moment. Awake, she endured the moment. Siridma, packed. Sirid means packed, heavily packed. March, and looked on his green, smiling, dangerous world. That is his destined spot where death is going to take place. Awake, she endured. She endured. She is now ready to face the moment of death. She endured all that grief, etc., etc. She has now gathered herself, and she has now kind of yogically gathered everything into herself and put her own force in it. In fact, she endured. It is a tremendous yogic state of Savitri already present, you see. Ashwapati also endured. His back was lapped by tenebrous tongue. He endured, you see. She endured the moment, Saritma, and looked on his green, smiling, dangerous world. She triple edged, green, smiling. Well, it is all beautiful, yet it is dangerous because it is going to happen here. And heard the ignorant cry of living things, of living birds, animals. They don't know what is going to happen. Nobody knows around, you see. Savitri alone knows that thing. Awake, she endured the moment Saritma and looked on this green, smiling, dangerous world. Triple-edged green, smiling, dangerous, you see. And heard the ignorant cry of living things. Amid the trivial sounds, the unchanging scene, her soul arose, confronting time and fate. This read march of moments is coming to the moment of truth now. She has gathered everything now in her soul. Amid the trivial sound and changing scene, her soul arose, her soul arose. So, that is what I'm saying. Now, in other words, that condition of grief, that sacrifice itself is so yogic that she is able to meet any kind of eventuality. She is not going to be afraid of anything now. Yes, come, we'll see what is going to happen. See. Her arose, confronting time and fate. The moment of death is arriving soon. Immobile in herself, she gathered force. That is the most important condition. You have to remain gathered within yourself in the face of adversity, difficulty, even in the most difficult circumstance. You have to gather, you have to remain calm, immobile, shant, calm, tranquil. You have to remain tranquil. So whatever may be the difficulty, however severe it might be, if you remain calm, that difficulty will not touch you. Not only that it will not touch you, you will have force in you which will be able to meet that challenge, that difficulty. Immobile in herself, she gathered force. She gathered force from within her own soul, because it is her soul that arose from her own soul. Has come. Actually, on the day of death of Satyavan, as we've seen earlier also, Savitri gets up early in the morning, gets ready. She offers her prayer to the statue of Durga, carved on a stone by Satyavan himself. By Satyavan himself, he has carved the statue of Durga. She is the goddess of protection. She is the one who will give strength and protection completely. She goes there and offers her prayer to her. Now the day has come. She gathered force. It is that Durga's force which is there now present in her soul. And she is now ready to meet any eventuality. Come what may, yes, I am ready. That is the kind of a yogic preparation which is necessary if you have to meet the calamity, the difficulty. The whole description is that Savitri is now going to approach the fated day, and on this day, this was the day when Satyavan must die. On this particular day, that is how the canto ends. This was the day when Satyavan must die. What a line!
But why is this the day when Satyavan?
All that is being described. When she gathered force, all that thing. It is on this day.
But it is still in the future. It's not on that day.
Her soul arose when? On the day when Satyavan should die. Her soul arose. Amid the trivial sound and changing, looked at his green, smiling, awake. She endured the moments, his moment-spirit march on arriving at his day.
But it is not that day. I mean, the day is coming. She still has to find her soul and all that.
This is the description. This is the description of what is going to happen on the fated day.
Oh, yes. On that day, he will die when she is.
This is the description of what is going to happen on the fated day.
Okay. Okay. Premonition.
Well, you can call it premonition. Actually, as I have been saying, this whole canto, although in a certain sense describes the terrestrial events which are going to happen in the life of Savitri, it is something which is already written in her book of life, in the transcendent. Everything is there. You see, with the sky for the page, a myth of Savitri was written up there. That is what we have seen in the first section already. What is the myth of Savitri? The story of Savitri is already written up there with the sky for a page. In the transcendent story of Savitri is written. Now it is that story which is going to kind of unfold here. And that is how it is going to unfold, is what is described up there. Later on, when Savitri takes a physical birth and goes through the whole process, etc., these things will happen. So this is the myth of Savitri, which is written on the sky for the page. What we are saying, you see. In the transcendent, it is already described there. That is how it is whole thing unfold. Now, there are a lot of things here. Earth offers to the immortal, began again in the eternal hand. Earth offers began again in the eternal hand. It means that, see, the sacrifice of suffering and desire, earth offers to the immortal ecstasy. She is constantly offering it right from the beginning of her appearance. A psychic being is always offering to the Supreme, to the ecstasy. Began again. In other words, Savitri has now completely identified herself with the soul of the earth. This line, this whole thing, is in fact a complete identification of Savitri with the soul of the earth. They are not two parallel things. The sacrifice of suffering and desire earth offers to the immortal ecstasy began again beneath the eternal hand. It is the identification of Savitri with the earth's soul. And obviously, because the sacrifice is under the eternal hand, the Supreme Himself is carrying things forward with His hand. You see. Because it is the eternal hand, there is certainty, there is the assurance, there is the definiteness of the success. It is bound to succeed. Whatever may be the difficulties, whatever may be the oppositions, they will be gone away. They will be. There is the certainty, assurance of the thing. When the eternal hand is there is certainty of the yajna yielding the desirable result, bringing the desirable goal, obviously. Savitri recognizes that eternal hand, holding her hand and performing the yajna. It is not Savitri who is doing the yajna. It is the eternal hand who is holding her hand and doing the yajna. Offering ahutis. No wonder the packed moments march in great glory and haste. When the eternal hand is now the moments are moving swiftly. The time is coming. March in great glory and haste. The press of events has brought the grim, smiling, dangerous world to the fore. The ignorant cry of living things is heard. The soul of Savitri rises and looks directly at time and fate of her Savior. The moment has arrived. The fate is going to be met. She is ready to strike. Savitri is ready to strike. Immobile in herself, she gathered for immobile in herself. This line, immob. I am. I'll in herself. That is the first immobile, that is I am. Then this spirit, herself, I am. She gathered, again I am. Gathered force, again I am. So that's the material. Now, in contrast to that, this was the day when Satyavan must die. It's a very complex line. This was, in a way, Spirit, the day when Satyavan must die. This is Spirit, the day is an I am. When Sat, that is an again I am. Spirit, I am. Satyavan, that is again a Spirit. So you have got I am Spirit, I am Spirit. Must die. You can now have it must die or must die, depending on how you want to. If you stress must, then it becomes spontaneous. must die, it becomes a name, you see. Now, there are many variations in reading this line. This was the day when Satyavan must die. Let us say the first foot itself. You can read it very quietly. This was the day when Satyavan must die, you see, very quietly. Yes. Otherwise, you can also say, this was the day when Satyavan must die. You can give stress on this, then it becomes a talkie. This was the day when Satyavan must die. Or you can have, this was the day when Satyavan must die, you see. Now, it all depends upon how you want to see. This was the day when Satyavan must die. There is a difference between the enunciation of all the three. This was the day, Spirit. This was Rocky. This was I am. You see, it depends on how you want to pronounce it, you see. Now, the line demands a certain kind of an enunciation. The line does not want anywhere any kind of unusual emphasis. Must I? No. Must I? Quietly. The whole thing in a very sober, quiet manner. This was the day when Satyavan must die. So very quietly it kind of shows. And it's a line which keeps on ringing throughout the epic. This was the day when Satyavan must die. At every important moment in the story of Savitri, as if you remember this line, this was the day when Satyavan must die, this was the day when Satyavan must die. It kind of keeps on tolling all the while, constantly. I will pronounce it as this was the day when Satyavan must die. This was a spirit, the day, of course, an I am, when Satya, again an I am, one spirit must die, again an I am, very quietly. This was the day when Satyavan must die.